All right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and friends. We're back tonight. We're playing more Time Watch. When you guys are in the loading screen stuff, you can't see me down there, right? Like you can't see me be like, okay, because I
only see myself.
Okay. Because like why that music is going, because we can hear it now. I'm like,
yeah.
Like this the whole time. It's like
now I very much regret that I
and like none of you were making faces. So I'm like, I don't think they can see me. The whole time I thought you guys could see me.
No, we can't.
No. It's good to know that you can see us though.
I can see you. Yeah. You guys look really bored.
Yeah. Okay. Like, I'll remember that for next time.
I can shirt on next time.
I can see two of everybody.
I held it together this time, but last time I was definitely feeling it.
There are times where I just like I look like, like a drummer from a 1980s like rock video. I'm just like nice. I got the hair now, so that's pretty great. It's awesome. I love it. But
I do a needed little head bob.
Get a little head bob. Okay, that's the same thing. That's definitely.
For me, it's the same level.
Oh God, I have so many jokes I want to say right now, but I think Melissa's gonna get mad if I start making them. So I'm not gonna say.
I know what they are. So just know that I know.
Her dancing.
And yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how when people dance, they like move and like different parts of their body can move somewhat independently of each other, like you can move a shoulder and your chest and like they can go in different. Yeah, that's not Melissa. That's not how that works. So Melissa is just like, it's like the penguin dance. It's so funny.
And it's not your signature. So like,
so great.
Why do anything else? Because, it's just.
Anyhow, so
me bobbing my head is about as much as you're
that's good. Yeah. I know. I really like that music. It is. Did I tell you?
I like completely unironically love that music.
Action.
That's the name of that track. Mullet Action.
That's an amazing name.
It's amazing.
It's such a. I saw the name and I wasn't even looking for it. And I saw the name up on Shockwave, where I usually get the music from, and then bam, there it was. And I'm like, played it. I'm like, perfect, because I had like two other ones in mind, but then I listened to this one. I was just like, no, this is winner. Like this is the winner right here.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, because the other ones were like pretty good, and then there was this one, and then I was like, oh yeah.
It's called Mullet Action. Come on,
it's called Mullet Action, which is genuinely perfect, I think, for the tone of this game. All right, so we ready to get started? We good? Good to go? Everybody feeling good? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're down our resident World War I veteran tonight, but he'll be back next week. So we'll try not to get you killed. So last time around, you all were in 1945. Okay, that's where you got sent back to, because there's a rampaging mammoth. Isra, you managed to hack your autochron, which is, you shouldn't do that. And that allowed you to extend the field to take the mammoth back to a suitable era. Maybe his home, maybe not. You were under the impression, Melissa and I were talking about this too, by the way. She's like, oh, I brought the mammoth home. I'm like, did you? That's like if you were time traveling and someone like brought you to like 1975 Australia and you're like, hey, we brought you home. Like, it's close enough, right?
I mean, it's in the better than leaving a mammoth in the middle of New Mexico, 1945, I suppose.
You separated them from Muck, though. They formed a bond. Just look at Jeremy's face. Look what you did.
Sad.
Anyhow, all right. So Isra doesn't like a boy and his dog, so took the mammoth back, and then everyone in the team started to track this temporal signature, this radiation signature that you all found. Several hours later, you found a time rip, not one like your autocrons, but something a little bit different. And you found grapefruit-sized dung beetles in a prehistoric condor, I think it was. Thomas started closing the rip, and in the process, you all kind of detected another anomaly that was miles and miles and miles away. And it was likely that anomaly which kind of created this collateral damage, which allowed the mammoth to come through. That sort of was your conclusion there. Farmer Jenkins confirmed that it was coming from an atomic testing site, the very testing site that Project Manhattan had used to test the gadget, the atomic bomb, before shipping them out for use. And so you all headed there. You had your boosted delivery truck, so you headed there. And then Thomas and Jenkins, you managed to talk your way through the military checkpoints. You got to the site. The site was swarming with military personnel and scientists. and you discovered that the tower atop which the bomb had been housed was missing. Like 3/4 of the tower was just missing. And so was Don Hornig, who was one of the scientists who was watching the bomb the night before the test. And you were able to kind of figure out that sometime in the AM before the day of testing, this all happened. So sometime in that AM there. You did some eavesdropping. Oppenheimer was like theorizing about lightning strikes and stuff like that. And you also were able to get some readings that indicated particles from the Holocene era 12,000 years ago. And so you theorized that likely what happened was some kind of time travel device, a rudimentary one, not like something really advanced like yours, just shot this like indiscriminate beam down and just took everything in its path, including part of the tower, the atom bomb, and Don Hornig and everything like that. So you all left the testing grounds. You parked your stolen truck in the middle of nowhere, and you time traveled back to the same time coordinates that were indicated by the particles, and that took you to 12,000 BCE. And right as you were about to explore, right as you were kind of exploring, you discovered a base, a actual base of some kind with high walls, human personnel, and it looked like some of them were carrying relatively futuristic tech. And so that was last time. So we're going to pick up basically right where we left off with you all in the Holocene era. You hear the sounds of screeching prehistoric birds, and you hear the shuffling of trees as things are moving about near you. And you're looking out and you see all sorts of lights. This is basically creating this huge big beacon in the darkness of, because it's relatively nighttime at this point. And this is where you guys are at. So, what are we thinking? What are we talking about? What are we doing? As you look, and right, no one's discovered you. You're at a range in which no one would see you just yet. So what are we thinking?
We scouted out.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to find out what it is before we decide what we need to do.
You said it's dark right now?
It's night. It's getting to be nighttime because you guys time traveled. You guys can always time travel earlier than the day if you wanted. You are time travelers. So, but like I just moved you from the approximate time when you left to the approximate time when you arrive. And so it would be nighttime. But you can change that easily if you want.
Probably easier for us to scout in the dark.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like to look at if we can find any markings or anything, indication of a company logo or something like that, maybe that we can look up. So I agree, scouting around. So good idea.
So we have like the mem tag things.
Yeah.
There's that guy that disappeared. If we mem tagged him, would he be returned to 1945 or where we mem tagged him, which is right now?
I think I described the sheriff coming back, right? Because wasn't that the guy? Is that who you're talking about?
Right.
The sheriff. I think I described him as coming back last time. And
not the sheriff, because there's the guy in the tower that disappeared. So I'm assuming he's here too.
So your question is, if you mem tag him here, does he come back here or does he go back there? Is that what you're
right? Because the bomb and him disappeared.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So presumably he's here at this time. So if we mem tagged him at this time, would they dump him back in the past, or would they bring him to where he's supposed to be?
Procedure would be he would be placed back relative to where he should have been, as close as possible. And his memories would probably be a little bit hazy in some ways, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he wouldn't be shot back
first. Knock them on the head first, then we mem tag them, because otherwise we're going to owe a lot of favors to those technicians.
I definitely want the guy that's babysitting the first atom bomb to be very sane.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I heard a couple things. I heard a couple things about scouting. So again, just call out what investigative ability you think you would be using to perform your scouting. And then, Isra, I know you said you were specifically looking for like logos or something.
Yeah,
like that.
so I was thinking history future being the skill that I would be using. And so that's why I'm thinking if this is a futuristic type of company, then I'm looking for a logo that I could match with my history future knowledge.
Nice.
I'll tell you what.
History future.
Make a spend on that one, I think.
Okay.
If you want to make a spend, I might give you something with that.
I will make a spend.
Okay, so as you're all looking, and some of you might be fanning out and doing some scouting, Isra, you notice on one of the buildings on the inside of there's a very big. So I should sort of reset the scene. Very tall walls, which you would imagine is because you're in, there's mammoths and stuff roaming about, right? Very tall walls, but there's all sorts of buildings on the other side. Lights, you can see like there's activity, and you can also see there's a handful of guards like walking around on those walls as well, kind of keeping an eye out. Whether they're keeping an eye out for you or whether they're keeping an eye out for wildlife, you couldn't really tell. But you notice, Isra, on one of them that there is a logo, and it's not. I would say you're not sure if it's a company necessarily that still exists in your time, but you would recall like a collectibles like agency. Is kind of what it is. It's like a museum curation service. Is kind of what it is.
Okay.
And it's Chen's Curations. And so you would recognize that and it was probably, since you made the spend, 24th century. Okay.
And so Isra would communicate that. That logo right over there on that tower. That's a 24th century collectibles company, Chen's Collectibles. Not quite what I was expecting, but they do collect pieces for museums and whatnot.
Okay.
So, go ahead, Sun Tzu.
I was going to ask if I could do military tactics to see, just to kind of gauge how militant this group is. Like, are they putting out the bare defenses to survive in the area, or do they seem a lot more private military?
Absolutely. And this is no spend here. I would say if you observe for a little while, you can tell like the patterns that the guards seem to be moving around in. There only seem to be 3 active at any given point atop the walls themselves, like kind of keeping an eye out, like walking around here and there. And they overlap as they're all kind of looping here and there from time to time. So you kind of get a good sense of that timing. From what you can tell, like they have equipment on them. Like you can tell that but mostly they're looking out towards the wild. And you try to get the sense that maybe it's more just like guarding for concern over the wildlife. Mm-hmm. And then you don't really get a military vibe from them. Like private security. They look more like private security, like rent-a-cops, or slightly more advanced than rent-a-cops like that, but you're not really in the military.
That's good, I guess.
All right.
I'd like to use the information that we just got from Mr. to support what I would like to do, which is to spend or use hacking to see what kind of systems they have inside, specifically to understand what it is they are doing at this facility.
You would need to get into their systems to probably be able to identify them. That's definitely something you could do, but you would need to get into their system and kind of look around.
And I can't do that with a hacking roll.
Do you have any Wi-Fi up in this area?
You would need to access their
probably
system.
Not, eh?
Yeah. If you got to a terminal somewhere in the base, you absolutely could do that.
Okay. That's what I had in mind then, so I'm happy to.
Well, why don't we all sneak in with an unobtrusiveness test to do sneaky? Because I'm real good at that. I've got nothing to see here.
I have a decent obtrusiveness too, so I can.
So we can team it up to do it as a Hujima. What's it?
There's a piggybacking you can do for that.
How long does it take to heal chronostability also?
The only way you're going to heal it during a scenario is by having a little word with Muck or anybody else who has Reality Anchor. That's like basically all it is.
I'm at 2 out of 8 on that, so maybe
you probably have. Yeah, if you're ever down to 2, you should take, because I think I can spend 1 to give you 2.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, no roll necessary. You just make the point spend. What do you think it looks like as you're huddling back up again, trying to figure out your next steps?
Okay. Muck was in the middle of like he'll eventually go to use notice to try and look for a good place to maybe scramble up a wall or somewhere based on what he's reported for that looks. He's like, okay, you said pattern is this. Why your face looks like someone pissing breakfast. Works, doesn't work, live, die, all 50-50. Don't think so much. You're good. And just kind of like does like a little loving slap on the face.
Well said, Buck.
Excellent.
This might go in my book someday.
Do you think he sounds like a caveman to you all? Or
I think we would have the option for him to not.
Yeah.
Just turn it on and off.
Yeah, and I would have it off. I want to hear him as he is.
The way I picture it is like Muck's actually halfway clever, but if you have this device that can just automatically translate your thoughts, why focus on learning language when you can learn all this other cool stuff and let it translate for you?
Fair enough.
Would you mind giving Isra a little pep talk as well? Muck?
What do you say to her?
Come on!
Like you heard what I said to him, right? You heard what I said to him. Do I gotta say it all over
You
again?
weren't listening.
You're so smart. You open ears. It's fine. Mall cops.
We got this.
Okay. So
Sweet. Thank you.
Are you looking to do anything else before you do your entry? I'll tell you this, like if you're trying to get in via like it would be a burglary test instead of unobtrusive, because it's not just about sneaking in, it's about like picking a lock or avoiding cameras and such like that. So it'd be a little bit more to that, but it can be piggybacked. So like, which means we can talk about what that, like the idea of not everybody has to roll, but people have to spend to get in, basically.
So to get in, I can definitely burglary. I like stealing.
Awesome.
Okay. So piggybacking means that Chuck will eventually roll as Jimmy, but because he's taking the lead, and you can spend however many points from burglary you want to boost you on the roll that you're going to have to do. But everybody else who is piggybacking off you, they have to pay 1 point from the relevant pool to gain the benefits of the action. They are not added to his roll. It's just the cost of you taking his roll, essentially. And for every one of you who can't pay the cost, the difficulty of the attempt goes up by 2.
I'm sorry.
I can pay 1.
I cannot pay the cost.
I would take an unobtrusiveness for this as your cost. So if you wanted to spend a point of unobtrusiveness, I'll take that.
If you'll allow that,
I will happily spend unobtrusiveness.
Is it either or burglary or unobtrusiveness?
It should be burglary, but because I know they don't have burglary, I'm just giving them an option.
I got burglary.
Nice. Which means he's setting us up.
Maybe. I always root for you guys. I always want.
I know. It just I feel so bad to fuck up.
Okay, so is anybody not paying the cost? Okay.
Everybody's got something.
All right. I know the difficulty, which means Jimmy, you can spend your points however many points you want, and then roll your burglary test, and so your points would add your modifier. So go ahead and do that.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and spend 3. And then there's my test. It comes out to a 7. Did I? Yeah.
Okay. So,
you did it right.
We should also remind each other, don't forget, stitches exist.
Oh, that's right.
I'm gonna give Jeremy one for come on. It's pretty funny. So Jeremy, you have a stitch in your personal pool, so don't forget to award those as play continues.
Can I give a stitch, or do I have to wait for a thing? I'd like
It has
to
to
give
be a
one to
reward.
Chuck. Okay, I would like to reward Chuck for helping me get it to be useful.
And I'm
Wow.
going to
That is a
immediately
low
use
bar.
that snitch.
Whatever.
He's just using his ability. It's supposed to be something. Okay, Chuck. In order for this stitch to count, like you need to describe how you lead everybody in. Give us a cool description, and then that'll justify it.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
we're gonna go Arnie in Predator 1. First thing we're gonna do is find some dung beetles.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna lather up to avoid their, infrared, whatever they may have, and then we just duck walk and do somersaults, avoiding guards, avoiding anyone's sight. As we get up to the front gate, I see the fancy little mem card number tag or tag to get through this gate, whatever the hell it is. Number pad.
Sure. Key card. No
Card.
problem. I got you. Yeah.
Like, whatever the hell it is. Like,
A reader.
don't worry, guys. I got it. As I pick a dried leaf that was stuck in some of the dew, and I just use that to kind of jimmy the reader, and eventually it clicks green. The door slides open.
Okay.
And
And you all scurry inside. Okay.
We got inside with
dung like
reasonable amounts of poo.
You definitely
Nice.
notice, by the way, that there are security cameras. There are sensors and various alarm systems, and there was even an the walls electrified in certain places. And so, because you went in this way, none of those things trigger because you've rubbed.
We
dung
just
all
look
over
like
you.
large poo-covered ground sloths. It's fine.
Okay. All right. So you all.
I'd love to
covered
think
in
you have
poo.
some trivial knowledge about the alkaline content of mammoth poop.
Oh, I do. It's writing at a pH of 4.3.
Yeah.
Which hits right at this precise wavelength of everything.
And you know just how old it should be when you have the stop putting on your face for fear of skin damage, right?
It's not even Jimmy, it's Chuck. Chuck knows
I know
a
those
weird
things.
amount about mammoth.
I
It's also gonna
really,
be a facial peel,
I'm
too.
a connoisseur.
Well done.
Connoisseur mammoth shit. Okay. All right. So you come inside, and you can see that the compound is it's not like sprawling, but it is a decent size. There's several buildings that seem to be spiraled around the interior of the wall, and you can tell that it's definitely nighttime, so there certainly seems to be less activity, but you still nonetheless hear the sounds of voices in the distance. You hear the sounds of various machines that are running. Somewhere centralized, you can kind of see above some of the buildings themselves and sort of down seams between them. Think of prefab buildings that are kind of interconnected, right? You can see a large crane kind of hanging up in the middle of the of this courtyard. You can't see the courtyard itself, but the crane is raised so high that you can kind of see it. And there's this large metal circle that's just kind of hanging from it. And you hear the sounds of voices, people working. Doesn't look like there's many. Sun Tzu is pretty sure there's only about 3 people who are probably on active guard duty right now. So what are y'all thinking of doing?
Find a terminal.
I think we're trying to find a terminal for Sarah.
Okay. Do any of you have architecture? Strangely enough. And it's a weird question, but
no.
Okay.
I do.
Somebody did.
I have one in architecture.
So Sun Tzu would probably be the best at kind of identifying which building is which, because there's probably some dormitories, there's probably some bunkers, there's probably some, labs and stuff like that. And so I would say what you're able to do, Sun Tzu, is don't go in that one. That's probably where just judging from the size of it, judging from the look of it, maybe some symbology on it. That's probably where the guards are kind of off duty. Maybe you hear the sounds of them playing cards or some other game inside. And then you can see there's much more activity towards the courtyard where there's this almost 2-story-ish kind of building that seems like offices. So we'll say you sneak off into what looks like some kind of laboratory, right? That doesn't seem to be active currently. And so you come inside, and it looks like there's like the same method you use for breaking into the with the leaf seems to work. Why not? And so you come too new, and so you come inside this lab, and you're not sure exactly what it's for, but it definitely seems like there's a lot of equipment in here. Like it doesn't look as high tech as the Citadel. Like it's not as streamlined and sleek, but it definitely looks like this is like a machine laboratory for maybe repair or machine part storage. And Syra, you're able to find a terminal. You said you were looking for a terminal. And so if you wanted to do hacking, now would be a good time to try.
I would love to try.
Okay. You could... Okay, so you could... So for free, you can just access the terminal and get some just basic information. Like, that's fine. And then you can decide whether or not you wanted to do more. So you quickly sit down. You know, like, it's like the interface is definitely more advanced. It's not like it's not a mechanical keyboard anymore. Like, everything's kind of overlaid. There's like a rollout mat, and you start typing on the keys, and you see this frameless screen pop up in front of you, and you start shifting through it. And the name that seems to pop up, and this corresponds a little bit with what Israel was able to get already, is the name of Hitish Chen. And that seems to be like the big boss. Like, that's who everyone seems to be working for. And so, like, you're seeing all these different references to, like, reports going back to Chen. Like, is Chen going to be happy about this? Chen's not going to be happy about that. Like, when's the next test? So all these types of things are all being, like, referencing, like, the CEO, the boss man of this whole thing. You also are able to get some basic look at personnel. It looks like the chief scientist of this compound is someone by the name of Dr. Elaine Bree. And then there's like all these varying scientists they're trying to shift out and come back. So it looks like there's a lot of references to being like on time and off time. Like, they're going to the 24th century and then back to the 12,000 BC, to the 21st century, 12,000 BC, 24. And like, it's like you're punching a clock. And so they're able, it seems, to like very easily switch personnel. And so those are kind of the things you see. Right now, there is somewhere in the neighborhood of a dozen guards in total on base, but only 3 on active duty, it looks like.
So I'm going to share this with everybody. And additionally, we'll say, given that this is a museum or artifact collector thing, more than likely they're just like finding things here and taking it back to the 24th century, but I don't know what those are. I don't know if I can get more information when I can try.
So do you think you try to find if they have, like, if they were trying to put this atomic bomb in a museum? Like, if they were, like, intentionally trying to, like,
I
grab
think
that?
it's a good idea for me to poke in some more, but the problem with doing that is that it becomes easier to get caught the deeper you go. So if we're okay with me trying, I'm happy to try. I can.
You can also just make a hacking spend. You don't necessarily have to roll. Just make a hacking spend.
I'm curious too, because you said that it sounds like they're going back and forth a lot between future and back to here. Mm-hmm. But the way that they took the bomb seemed to be a kind of a rudimentary time tunnel thing. So, like, are they using better time traveling tech to do that run constantly, or do they have just like a constantly open tunnel or something that they're going back and forth? Like,
right?
That seems
great questions. Is Cyrus spending a hack to, like, kind of dig in a little further?
Okay. Yes.
Sun Tzu, don't shit where eat. Good travel home, shitty travel take. Well, I mean, yes, we have shit where we eat now, but I'll be quiet.
That's in my book already.
Good book.
Okay, so in answer to, so I'll start off. So as you dig in further and you start getting some more, some deeper files, some files that have some slight security restrictions on them that you're able to tap into. The first thing you do realize is that they have a permanent connection between the 24th century and here in the compound. So that seems to be how they get back and forth. They regularly reference the beam, like the some sort of device called the beam that they're using to target different years. They're focusing very heavily on like the 20th century, and you can see, Syra, that they are referencing like the 1980s, like somewhere kind of like right after the fall of like the Soviet Union. They kind of reference at one point. Where they're trying to get like certain briefcases they seem to be focused on. You see them targeting like other years, and it starts to dawn on you, Syra, that they seem to be targeting like nuclear atomic weaponry of some kind.
It's a crazy theme at their museum this month or something.
Yeah.
New exhibit opening up.
You just watch the timeline of the evolution of the atomic bomb. It would be a fun exhibit. I'd go.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would get. I got a couple more actually. So there's Saddam Hussein's store of chemical weapons. So you see some targets from the early 21st century, right? So there's like apparently chemical weapons they were targeting at one point, and various other things like that. Those are things. I knew there was another one. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. I had to check.
I love it.
I'm gonna share that with everybody and say there are 12 guards in the roster, but only 3 on duty right now. So if we want to do stuff, I can try and jam the security cameras and stuff from here. But if we want to physically move around, now might be the best time to do it.
So,
jam or what do you call?
I can try. I don't know if I. Sorry, I missed that, Jam.
What do you call when you show same thing so it still looks like, but not really?
You loop the same thing. Loop.
I can I do another hacking spend to install a loop on the cameras?
This is a lab, not a security office. So I would say if you wanted to do that, you could potentially like look for a security office and then try to mess around there. But you're really just kind of going. All you've been going through is like the lab of this like.
Stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
Think if it's so much the middle of the night, I think maybe we use our time just trying to find out if Mr. Hornig and the bomb are still here or if they've already been into the 24th century. And we can do the loop if we get to the morning.
If there's like a staging area or something.
So if
we
stuff comes to lab,
anomalies, will that point us to anything? The same way it did.
Sorry, what was that? Jeremy was speaking and then you spoke, so I didn't catch everything.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, so what was your question?
I think Maitri was asking about temporal anomalies. Like, could we locate that a little more closely? Right.
So let's just like reset for a second. Like, remember that all of you have investigative abilities. Like, Syra's been sitting here hacking. Doesn't mean you all 4 have to like stand over her shoulder and like watch and tell her where the click and everything like that. So like, you're welcome to like try to do some other things too. So, so if somebody is trying to take readings for like coronal radiation, that would be basically just your timecraft investigative ability would be doing that. So who do we think is like sitting there like taking readings, getting like your devices, like your time watch devices to take readings?
Isra can do that. I've got timecraft.
Okay. So from what you can tell, Isra, there is So you can confirm again the 24th century stuff for sure. You can see that like in the air, there's like particulates, like like pollution particulates in the air that definitely shouldn't be 12,000 BC. And secondly, you see that there is that permanent time portal, that permanent rip, the connection that they have. You can locate it with your device. It's on the other side of the compound from where you're at. And it seems, but you have a very clear idea of where it is. Like you could literally go into the building that it's being housed in. So you know that. What about Muck or Sun Tzu or Jimmy? What are the three of you doing? Jimmy.
In this old lab, I'm going to be scrounging around, seeing if I can put together disguises using my disguise skill for everyone. That way we can hopefully move around a little easier.
I think you could do that. Like it's probably like between your mesh and then between maybe finding some like leftover like coveralls, like scientist coveralls, like you can probably start sharing those out to make it even less likely for someone to question where you're at. Like you could literally walk around here because you've got the right clothing on. You've got the little Chen's collectibles on the back too. Yeah. I'd say, no spend necessary. You just do that. What about Muck or Sun Tzu?
I would kind of like to piggyback along with that because what Muck was going to look at do is like you're bringing all the stuff here, and that's great. You've got the little time, wormhole or whatever, but then you need to physically transport stuff. So he's looking for whether they have stuff that looks like little flatbeds or dollies or things like that. Whatever looks to be the thing that you would use to push stuff around. Which either maybe they like the little wheels have left some sort of mark on the floor, or just something that we can push around so it looks like we're supposed to be doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. Like in this lab, like I described it as like a machine lab, right? So there's all sorts of different parts and pieces. Probably like they're repairing certain things. It could be like pieces to repair some electrical fence. It could be pieces to repair some of their machinery that they're using for whatever kind of time shenanigans they're doing here. But yeah, I don't see any reason why you couldn't have a dolly. You find one, but you realize as you look at it, there's no wheels. Then you hit a button and suddenly it just starts to hover. And so now you have like a hover, just some sort of hover cart.
Nice.
So in a second, he'll be responsible and put something on it to look like they're transporting. But there's like a good 30 seconds of Muck looking to see if anybody's looking and then just standing on it and just kind of like, surfing on the little floating thing. Before doing that.
Okay. Do a little Back to the Future too. Just okay. Fair enough. These things don't work on water. You need a power source.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyhow, what about Sun Tzu? What is he up to?
You can't give me some of the helpers. Yeah.
I want to work on trying to kind of map out where points of interest we need to go are in this base. Like I want to see if I can figure out where are they holding our guy, the bomb, all that. And
from what you would have learned from Syra is that stuff was transported. So you can see that once stuff gets brought here, it is almost immediately transported to the 24th century. So unlikely they're storing it here. But your other question, like I would say you giving a second, especially if Syra is able to like throw a schematic up of the compound for you on a separate screen, you could easily figure out like where everything is. Like, these over here, this is where the guards are probably sleeping. There over there is probably where like, scientists might be doing some sort of time study. And then Isra tells you about like there's a time portal over here. I would say, Sun Tzu, you have a full understanding of the layout of this base at this point.
Okay. So we almost certainly need to be going through that portal to retrieve stuff if we want to bring everything back. That, or that's like the more stealthy approach maybe, or we time travel back right when they got the stuff.
Are we coming up with the
before they bring
plan?
it back to the portal?
Yeah, we're coming up with the plan.
Yeah, I like that. We find out when this base first was established in this time period. We steal the bomb, move it back in time when they first opened up, and we detonate the bomb. That way this base was never here, and no one...
We need the bomb.
Well, no, because then the bomb will be back where it belonged the entire time. Because
Right,
this
back
base
where
would have
it
never
belongs.
stolen the bomb. To save the bomb, we have to blow up the bomb when this base was first established.
That's an idea. That is
It's pruning the branches. Everything will go back to normal.
Somebody set us up the bomb.
Exactly.
I feel like that'll butterfly out a little bit more than we want it to.
We'll just
But it would be very effective.
An atomic bomb exploding scenario?
We
possibly have any.
I mean, the problem has ballooned slightly beyond this bomb right now, because that also means they've stolen Saddam's chemical weapons. They've stolen this. They've stolen that. The easiest way to put all of those things back up at once is to just delete this base right when it was getting started.
Mm-hmm.
Which, interestingly, with time travel things that they could just that gets complicated.
Yeah. Do we need to do that on the end in the future?
I think we probably. Okay, something that I would like to do if I can with our not autochron, tether. That's how you do research, right?
Yeah,
I would like
to the true timeline.
Yeah, I think I would like to try to get a little bit more information about this Chen Industries, if that's possible, to see like. I may have gotten anything that I could from them, but I'm curious. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out some of that information about like when did they first kind of come into anything, and like do we have any belief in the future? Like is all this stuff just sitting in a museum? Like because they could be just taking all of this stuff and putting it in a museum, and like it's not hurting anybody being in the museum. Right. It's not being taken for nefarious purposes, I should say. Like we would still need to figure out other things to do.
They show it because people think it's cool. What if instead of bomb, we go back to before it was cool, and then Syra's good at telling people what to think, and she makes people think, oh, weapons are stupid, passé, and then they don't need it, then they never take it.
And maybe that's what the museum is. Maybe it's saying that it's bad and you shouldn't use it.
But we're not here to fix what's wrong with us. We're here to protect the timeline.
Yeah.
That is true.
We're not supposed to make changes.
Timeline. That is true. So doing
it's morally right to make sure the bomb goes off.
That is protecting the true timeline.
Goes off where it should go off. Not here.
Right.
No, I mean, if it goes off here before it was taken, then it was never taken, so it's still there and not here. You got to think in loops.
But then it still would have got off
when it was supposed to there. But back here, no one cares, right? Like a few mammoths go down. Some of them get superpowers.
I think
it sounds like a paradox that we would get.
Yeah, I think we just need to disband this base. So maybe we just destroy the time tunnel.
Yeah, it almost seems like we would have to destroy the time tunnel on the future side of it, because I feel like that's probably where it's anchored.
Destroy the whole tunnel? Like all of it.
Go into the future when they first established the tunnel and destroy it there.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Because I feel like, well, I don't know exactly how it works, but I feel like if we sabotage it when it opens here, they can just change a different time that they move the tunnel to or something.
We're starting a future war. I like it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go first look at the time tunnel here, and just go look and see what's over there.
Sure. Then we'll figure out where to put them.
Then we can.
Like I said, if we're gonna poke around like physically, now is the best time to do that.
Let's do it to it. Where are we going?
For sure. And Jimmy, you've got us geared up, looking like we belong here. And Muck, you've got us a little hover cart, so we look like we're moving something.
So is
Yeah.
where to go.
We're good.
Shame you all smell like shit. That's other than that, you guys.
It'll just blend in.
Bulletproof disguises. Okay.
Ass body spray.
Sire, from tapping into the system, yeah, it kept referencing a beam, and it referenced that as the courtyard. So you're pretty sure, I would say, Sire, that there's like the actual thing is somewhere in the courtyard itself. And Sun Tzu, you think that the main scientists are probably like in various offices that that kind of border it as well, and that there's remember there's two things going on. There's like the permanent rip that goes to the 24th century, and then there's this like device that they're using to target and steal things.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys go poking around, what you notice is that in the courtyard, and again, there's not a ton of people at this time of night. There's scientists that are moving about, but between your impersonator meshes and the extra steps that Jimmy took, like no one's really you literally walk past people and they don't really say anything to you because they just assume you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But in the courtyard, you can see what looks like a beam projector. It's basically something that was like taken out of a 1960s sci-fi movie. It's like big and ridiculously large, and like it actually just looks like a ray gun that's essentially melded with all this sorts of electronics on it that seem to just be grafted in the most illogical way possible. And you can see that the beam is pointing upwards as though it's going to be projected through that big metal hoop hanging from the crane that you already spotted. And so you're pretty sure that that's kind of how it works. And just eyeing it, the width of it relative to the size of the tower and the damage that you saw back at the atomic site, you're pretty sure that's about right. That kind of tracks in some ways. And so yeah, you can see it. It is open. So like if you move up to it, there is the potential someone could see you, and there's definitely like guards that are doing their sweep on the wall that can look down as well. So it's not like, but you could always move up to it if you wanted. So as y'all are mingling and lingering around and moving about, what else are we doing?
I think Isra might want to do a science, like use her science. I think she would like to see how this thing functions.
That would probably be more timecraft. Pretty much anything that's like time travel is timecraft. Science is like all purpose for every other science, but you could still do that. So you could still do it. Just taking a quick look without seeing it in action, to be sure, you would probably theorize that the beam kind of shoots something through that hoop, and it likely is just targeting a time, like a specific time, and without any very specific discriminate targets. So it's like it probably can get something geographically, and it probably can get something temporally, but it isn't necessarily knowing with any precision whether someone's there or someone's not there. Your autochron devices will always drop you in a place that is not visible by anybody. Like it has like this kind of smart calibration in the middle of your travel. This beam doesn't. This it's just scooping stuff up, whatever's there, and everything that's there, it's taking with it. So that's probably what you would
backhoe.
Yeah, something like that.
Interesting. It's advanced for what it does, but it is quite crude. And it is certainly nowhere near as sophisticated as and she kind of taps her kind of autochron in her bag.
It certainly matches what we saw at the bomb site.
Yes. Indeed it does. We may want to consider doing something about this machine, but that's kind of how that works.
And I would say Sun Tzu and Isra, you would both know that on the opposite side of the courtyard, there is a kind of a warehouse, but it's not used for storage. It's literally just used as sort of like a threshold point for the permanent rip. So inside of it is, if you're going into that warehouse, it means you're going in it because you're going into or coming from stepping through that rip. I mean, it's kind of got a similar reading. It's different time. Like the chronal signature is different because it's a different century, but it's the same kind of deal that that you saw with the mammoth.
Same flavor. Yeah.
So yeah, Israel was looking at the beam thingy if other people wanted to do other stuff.
So, sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
And you can use this to target a point in history. We know exactly where the time tunnel opens up. And if we could figure out a way, because I'm assuming this time thing, you pick like a point in time and spatially a place in time. Like we could just we could use this to just hit people the second that time tunnel opens up and mess with them then.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't follow that either.
So because they have a tunnel, right, from
your
it's future
tube.
to now, and then they have another device that
The
just
gun.
creates a bubble,
Yeah.
and we could use this bubble to just hit the entrance of the time tunnel the second they use it, and move it to somewhere else that disrupts them. It's like more pointed than a bomb.
Wait for them to initially establish the 24th century of the time tunnel, and then scoop it up with this thing.
Yes.
It's same effect. Okay, I like it. It's a more targeted delete.
Yeah, it's not a nuclear bomb.
Still, I mean, okay.
So you want to use this thing to target this thing in a different time?
We're using
to target the other tunnel.
We're using the time laser ray gun.
Okay.
We're gonna do some research, and we're gonna find out when they initially established this time tunnel in
It's not
24th
research.
century.
You guys
local
have
time.
to go investigate. Okay, I feel like I have to remind you guys that you're time travelers and you have your own time travel devices, and you can jump forward in time, back in time. The whole timeline is there for you guys to explore. Like you could go back a week in this exact compound, see if it's still here. You can go back a year and see if it's still here. Like you can just do those types of things. That's kind of what the game thinks you might, because you all have your personal time travel devices. So it's unlikely you're going to find anywhere, like research wise, like where this completely illegal, off the books time travel, time travel compound is. Like I don't think you're going to research that anywhere. But it's fairly common practice. For instance, like whenever you are trying to test changes that you make, to jump forward in time like a couple weeks to see if everything's aligning with what your tether says. Yeah. But you can also do the same thing. You can go backwards and start figuring out like when did this happen and when did that happen. So you can always go anywhere you want. Yeah. So you're not limited to just like you guys are here. You have to do everything here. Do whatever you want.
It's a fun idea, but we could potentially we know where they're delivering this stuff, so we could jump to there. And while there, figure out where that point would be, and then use that information to enact the plan.
Yeah, I think the cleanest solution is figuring out how to disrupt their permanent tunnel that they use to like set up this base and start stealing stuff.
All you would need to do for that is the exact same thing you did with the mammoth, which is you just get next to it, bring out your devices, spend a timecraft point, and work to shut it down. Like that is or I think it might even be 2. Yeah, I think it's 2 to shut this one down. But you actually you have timecraft abilities, you have timecraft like equipment, like you could pop into that warehouse, make sure no one comes and goes and watches you, pull your stuff out, and then boom, you seal it. Like that is a pretty standard operating thing for you all.
So the first thing that we somehow need to do, though, is we somehow need to make sure that the guy in the bomb doesn't leave.
Well, I think would this fix it? Because if we got rid of that, it would prevent the thing that took them from their time.
No, if you close down the time portal, if you close down time portal right now, well, they've already used the time portal to come back. Come back in the past, and they've already shipped the atomic bomb presumably to the 24th century through the time process. If you shut it down now, you're not preventing anything that happened before. You're just preventing stuff from happening. If you went back like 6 months or something like that and shut it down, then that's a different story.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But it also
so if you went back
before they have used it.
Another one.
Yeah. At a minimum 3 days or however long it's been that he's been gone. At minimum, that amount of time would solve our immediate task.
Yeah.
All right,
So
let's
maybe
jump back
like
a year.
A week ago. Oh, yeah, or a year.
Jeff, we time travel a year in reverse.
Okay, you're going a year back in time. Are you going to clear the compound or at least target somewhere outside the compound? Or are you going with the presumption of like just jumping right in at any point? Do you have any?
What don't our things, they put us somewhere where no one would see?
Right, but you could, I guess that's true. You could potentially be placed inside the compound where no one would see. Sure. Okay, everyone go ahead and make a time travel test.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. And again, it's best to
Chrono
just
stability.
roll it.
I think that's what we figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, look at you,
Yeah.
Chuck. Rolling a 6.
oh, snap.
Oh, look at me. Rolling a 6.
Oh,
No.
Someone rolled a 1.
I did.
Serves you right.
Tzu.
Yeah. Can I Benny
Okay.
it?
I'm still good.
Get the hell out of here. Okay. So
I jumped back
looks
2 years to when we were playing Holler, and
Grab a
like 3
Betty.
years ago, dude. That was even longer ago.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
So long
gosh,
ago.
really?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeremy, did you roll?
Sun Tzu, you
didn't
take
get
2.
Grounded gives me freebies.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Sun Tzu,
Mug
take,
doesn't get bothered very much by.
He's chill.
okay.
Mhm.
Sun Tzu, you're taking 2 chrono stability point loss. Okay. You all teleport a year back, and we'll say you teleport into like a storage facility, right? You can see there's all these different like stacks and crates and stuff, machinery that's still kind of in the proverbial futuristic shrink wrap and everything. All these little hover carts kind of holding them here and there. You can see it's essentially prefab walls and such. Like you think you've time traveled back into like sort of the early stages of it, but you're huddled in this kind of shadowy corner of this warehouse. You hear the sounds of voices and stuff outside, sounds of like drilling and equipment and people kind of moving about. You're kind of in the early stages, it looks like, of the compound. At least what it sounds like from first impression.
Let's go take a look and see if they've built that time ray gun yet.
Okay. Jimmy, you move on out and you can see that there's not as many prefab buildings up as there were before. So like there's a lot more space, tons of people here. The sun is kind of coming out. It looks like it's early morning at this point. And you can see that the crane is raising up into the sky. And you can see going up with it is this metal circular loop. And it looks like you've arrived at right around the time in which they're installing it. And you can see that there's about 15 or 20 different scientist type figures who are wearing that scientist coverall, right? That are lingering around either underneath that crane and monitoring what's going on with the loop or around the device, the beam device.
All right, I'll go back in. All right, so they're building the time ray gun. So we could shut the tunnel down now. I think we should also, they got a big crane out there holding a piece. We should drop that on all the scientists that are out there.
Oh my. So if we
Why?
So one, if we shut down the time tunnel, they can't keep working here.
No, I'm on board for shutting down the time tunnel.
But
it's the killing
people
the
who
scientist part.
The people who are here are making a time machine that they may be able to use to go back and
I just
see
feel
time.
like there are ways to stop them that isn't killing all of them.
I suppose we could go back
orders.
a little farther. and then
Ooh.
shut the tunnel down.
Or-
But then we don't get to use a crane.
What if we don't murder, but we help scare? Reasonable guess. Mammoth shows up at that time, right? Remember that big bird? Big bird, right? Probably also from the same time. Maybe we plant things to make them want to hunt here, and they're like, oh shit, big birds, this project is stupid. I don't want to die.
We jump back another year and spend a year training an army of native animals to raid the compound.
I mean, it's not
So
that hard to get a
convincing them
predator
that
to
it's a
want to
bad
hunt
idea.
somewhere.
Convincing them that it's a bad idea is a good
Yes.
outcome. I do like that. How can we get that done?
With a crane.
It's just
we find stage 10
So,
and
I forget name. It's like a condor. They are scavengers. They will eat things that are there. They want easy pickings. So we go do a little hunting. We put chunks of meat, easy meat for them to get. And then there's other little snacks nearby. But hopefully the people will see giant birds coming for the easy meal. And then if the birds eat one or two people, maybe it makes Farmer Jenkins happy. But for the most part, while the giant birds eat the meat, all the scientists go, oh shit, scary birds. No way, out.
and maybe while that's happening, we could also do some sabotage on the machinery and make it look like they thought they had solved the problems that they needed to solve, but they hadn't solved the problem. So also make them think scientifically that this isn't going to work. So we scare them into thinking that this isn't the right place to be, and we muck up the science of it. So it seems like this isn't something that they're going to be successful at. So we sabotage from multiple angles.
And then Muck will piggyback off of that, turn towards Sun Tzu, because you're back down to 2 stability again, right?
Yeah.
He'll turn to you and say, in midst of chaos, there is opportunity, and slaps you.
I should go in your book.
I think that's a good one.
It's actually a Sun Tzu
Smart.
quote, for real.
Yeah.
But you've got a list ready to go.
Get one of those
actually
green
did.
cards that is will pop out.
It's going to become one of my things. I'm going to try and look up Sun Tzu quotes for Muck to say to Sun Tzu.
That is
whenever he's doing
an
That's
something.
excellent
amazing.
idea.
All right, Jeremy, you can have another
The entire
stitch.
book is just me
I was
stealing
gonna
quotes
say,
from Muck.
can someone give a stitch to Jeremy?
That's
I use
deserving.
mine up.
No, you can keep doing it. There's not a limit to the amount of
Yes.
stitches you give
Oh,
out.
I
It's just
didn't-
if someone
I
does
thought
something
I could
cool,
do-
you just give it to them. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So we want to do some science. I just lost the word.
Sabotage.
Sabotage. Thank you. It just went right out of my brain. We want to do some science sabotage and some physical environment sabotage to scare them.
Okay.
I'm going to go hunting.
I like it. Who is going to? So I'm going to presume then there's like teams working on both of these. Is that fair?
I've got the
Yeah.
science timecraft stuff.
Who is going to attempt? Are you just doing that solo? Is anyone helping her trying to sabotage this this new time machine that they're putting in place right now?
I'm down to help with that.
Okay.
I will take your help. Your trivia, I'm sure, will come in handy.
And then who's trying to rile up the wildlife to get it to attack this
basically,
new base?
go
I wanna
hunt
help with
something.
that.
Yeah, go
Wanna
hunt something.
learn some
Get some
military
meat,
tactics.
place it strategically.
Okay, so Sun Tzu and Muck are going to do that. So, Syra, which team do you want to be part of? Or do you want to be part of your own team, which
Team
might be a
science?
better option?
Hacking on team science, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I'll be on Team Science.
Team science.
Nice.
Muck, Sun Tzu, do you all teleport away? Because remember,
Sure.
your autochron can physically teleport you, not just
Right.
not just
And that's not a
teleportation.
timecraft test. That's just a thing it can do, right? If it's
Exactly.
in the same-
Yeah. As long as you're not changing time, I think you don't need to roll a time test. I should have looked that up before. I don't think I did. Okay, so we'll do these. Let's start with Team Sun Tzu and Buck. So you guys are out trying to hunt Holocene era wildlife, and you want to try to herd it back towards the. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh geez, what skill?
Pissed off dinos.
What skill do we think we're using here for this? Oh God.
I mean, for myself, I would go for outdoor survival if we're doing the legitimate hunting to maybe get a couple kills, get some meat. Maybe Sun Tzu can help me out with like having a mindset of like where things are at. Like I could do the hunting, I can get the meat. I'm like Arby's here. I've got the meat, but you could help me figure out where to put it.
Yeah, I was thinking since we're trying to get them to like raid the compound, that might be like a military tactics thing I could spend on.
Okay. Maybe you would know. Okay. Well, let's just start with one thing at a time. So let's do do the outdoor survival. So make an outdoor survival spend. We'll say. Okay. What are you looking for? Are you looking for something really big?
Yes. And because we had already been here like a year before, and like even though yes, that's a year in the future, and we saw some of the movement of where people think animals were there, you can still take some of that knowledge, get an idea of like where are the water sources. That's always the number one thing. Look for the water source. Animals are going to go to the water source, and then you backtrack from there to look for a good opportunity.
Okay. If you want to give me 2 points. I would say I'm going to give you like really big things that you can find pretty easily. If you say 1 point, maybe it's just like, a stray, like wandering mammoth or something like that. But if you want like a herd of something, like something that you can find many things of, I would say 2 points. Would you be willing? Muck?
Why not?
Okay. Muck, your instincts are right. You do find a water source not far away, just a few miles. And you teleport, pop, 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 and you wind up kind of at the edge of this very large and very, very, very clear and beautiful looking lake. Like it is serene compared to some of the places you've been to in the future. And you can see that there is a couple of mammoths that are moving about. Like two of them are adults. For sure, one of them is a small little baby bull mammoth or something like that, and they're moving about and they step into the lake itself and they like pick up some of the water and like shower it over themselves a bit. You can see that there is a very large tree kind of hanging out nearby, and you can see this massive giant sloth like pulling up and just pulling things down from it. These huge long arms. You hear the sounds of like some sort of bird overhead, and you look up and you see these huge wings of like a condor. Like it's essentially like the Lion King at this point. You just see this big watering hole with like about 24 different species of Holocene era. So it's just you're trying to kill them. Is that what you're looking to do?
He's trying to find like a good like source of like get a good kill that we can then spread the meat around. And honestly, like get himself a new set of duds. And meanwhile,
oh, I'm sorry, Melissa narked on you guys. You do have to do a travel test, even if you teleport with your autochron without moving in time, even if it's just physically. You still got to do a time travel. So I need Sun Tzu to give me a time travel test.
Oh boy, chrono stability.
Don't forget, by the way, you can always spend like investigative points to get a +3 on a roll. So as long as you can justify the point spend, like why this would be helping you in this situation.
How much do you get back in between missions? Is it like full refresh in between?
Yeah, you get
everything.
You start the next mission at full.
And stitches help you get stuff back too if you get stitches.
Okay.
You just got to do cool shit, Joe. We're waiting.
I love stitches because they're so delicious.
I was gonna roll. Oh my god!
Another one. Rolls another one. That's 2 more points of chrono stability. What do you think it looks like? Are you like becoming translucent? Are you getting sick? Like, what is it for Sun Tzu?
I feel like I'm stretching very strangely, and like my legs are a little bit ahead of me while I'm walking.
Like the worst kind of gangly. There. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay.
What?
It's been a rough day.
I'm going to spend a stitch on stability and then immediately spend that point on you. He just looks at you, and he just starts dipping you in the lake repeatedly, dunking you, washing the water over your face.
Reality anchor, you mean?
Yeah, reality anchor,
right?
Sorry.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Anger,
By the way, I just want to shout out to chat that they think that I should get a stitch because snitches get stitches.
That's an excellent point. Go ahead and take a
I will endorse that.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So happy.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's an excellent point.
Stitches get stitches.
Well done, Too Old.
God bless it.
Okay. Too Old, you can have a stitch too. So just, there you go. All right, so Muck, do me a favor. Just narrate for me how and which of these animals that you kill and start carving their meat from. So I've given you like a bird flying overhead, giant sloth with these huge claws, a small little family of mammoths. Like, which one of these do you murder, slaughter, and take the meat of?
I mean, Muck is practical, and he's not a monster. He's not going to break up a family. So, and there's birds. Birds are a pain in the ass. It's going to be the sloth. As much as Muck thought the sloth was beautiful, he's going. I mean, he will honor that sloth. He's going to make an amazing rug out of that sloth after this is all done. You know, he won't waste it, but it's going to be the sloth.
Okay. Fantastic. I am going to, because you made the 2-point spend, we're not going to actually roll for it. You get it. It's done. And so we cut out of that scene with you and Sun Tzu, like peeling the fur back, carving up, and like actually getting meat ready. And we'll come back to where Syra, Isra, and Jimmy are still in the compound, and you're trying to get towards the device to sabotage it, correct? Okay.
That we are.
I like it.
Jimmy, you've got unobtrusiveness, right?
I do. Let's sneak over to that crane.
Goodness, because I think we're going to need it.
Okay. Yeah, just give me an unobtrusiveness test. And you can piggyback on this if you want.
I can make a spend to make it a little easier.
Nice. I can't. I've got Jack.
Okay, so that'll increase the difficulty by 2. That's all right, though.
I got a 5 with a spend of 2.
You're phenomenal. You guys have the uniforms already. You sort of have a layout. There's a lot. It's very busy. There's a lot of people working, and you're kind of getting lost in the shuffle of the crowd. There's far more people here now in this sort of build-up phase than there were when you were here, and you're able to get like right up to this device, this like a set piece from a 60s sci-fi B movie. And, it looks like it's intact. Like it looks like it's been constructed and it was just moved here. It doesn't look like they're actually building it. They might have pieced it together here or brought the components, but it doesn't look like they're creating it here. And they're just like kind of running cables and things like that. There's generators that are off to the sides to make sure the power is correct and everything. These advanced looking things that doesn't look like it's just pure electricity or gasoline or something that it's sort of powering a device of this magnitude. Okay. So you can do a tinkering test. Someone can roll a tinkering test to try to mess with the device, sabotage it, and kind of go from there. So who is taking that up?
I hope one of you have tinkering.
Yeah, I can't hear Syra, but I do have some tinkering. Syra, do you also have tinkering? Okay, I've got 5 in tinkering. So.
Sorry, no, I don't have anything in tinkering.
Okay, yeah, I've got 5 in tinkering, so I am definitely willing to spend some tinkering on this.
Okay, so you have so you're just so are you trying to so just sort of tell me like narratively, like what you want the sabotage to do. Like, do you want it to like, are you trying to like rig this to explode? Or are you just trying to make it not work? Like what do you think?
So I'm willing to do some other spends here if I need to. Like I don't want it to look like it was sabotage. I want it to look like their plan failed. So like this device is not going to work. So I'm if it's possible, and if at the end of the day I just need to blow the thing up, I can do that. But I was trying to kind of use some science, use some timecraft to make it look like they thought this was good, they thought this was going to work, and it's actually not. So I'm trying to kind of put that doubt in them that like this is really actually not functioning.
I like it. Okay, so if you're willing to put some points into it, so there's a thing in the game called, I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think it's like called like an ongoing test. And so it's like the equivalent of like a skill challenge. I want to see if I put it in my, do I remember how to do this? And so what it is a series of, it's essentially a series of tests that you basically make with the intention of like spending and hitting a point, hitting a number like in total.
Okay.
Because like so since you're trying to do multiple things here, I'm just trying to find the full rules because I forget what they are.
Trying to find
looking. Yeah, I didn't type them up in my primer, so I gotta look for them now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find like ongoing something.
Yeah, it's like a continuing test. Maybe it's called. It could be called continuing test. And so it's essentially like I set a number. I set like a difficulty number, and then you roll. Then you roll a series of tests. So it's a continuing challenge. Here we go. I got it. So some tasks like battering a door or disabling a complex security system. So I would say this like sabotaging in a very complex, sophisticated, suffocated way. This actual advanced like device, you want to make sure like you're doing it correctly. So so for these challenges, like I give it an obstacle, a target difficulty representing the base difficulty of doing it at all once unaided. And it's usually, I already have I know the number. And so the difficulty is predicated on how difficult you think it is, et cetera, et cetera. Then the players can take turns. They can cooperate. So Syra or Jimmy, you could potentially cooperate as well. Or you can use any other means. So this doesn't always just have to be Isra rolling this. So it could be a series of, like it could be like a combination of you all. And then what we do is we add up the totals for each successful test. And when this running total equals or exceeds the target difficulty, you succeed. And so basically the three of you, just tell me what you're doing to help with the sabotage effectively. Roll a test, give me your total number. And if that total number meets the difficulty I have in my head for what like the big task is, then you're good to go.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
All right.
I was thinking of doing burglary. So like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
while you're
Isra
finding this
tinkering,
precise,
your burglary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Syra, what would you want to use?
Either hacking or timecraft to support what Isra is doing to make it look like things just aren't working the way they ought to. So specifically the time travel piece.
So we could say, yeah, you could spend a point of timecraft to give Isra like a +3 on her roll. Like you can do it in that way and kind of lend her aid that way. Okay.
Sweet.
So Isra, make as many point spends as you want on your tinkering. You get a +3 from Syra. Make a roll and let me know how well you do, and then we'll do Jimmy's after that.
All right. So I have 5 in tinkering, so I'm going to spend 3 and see. I'll spend 4.
Isn't that an auto success?
Oh, then there's a +3.
You don't know what the difficulty is.
Got it. Thank you.
So I rolled a 6.
It's going to be high. Yeah.
I spent 4 of my tinkering points, and then I had a +3 from Syra that I forgot to add on. So that's a 13.
Okay, fantastic. And then Jimmy, you as well.
Yeah.
Same thing. Roll your burglary test, spend as many points as you want, and you give me the total. I will tell you that like the minimum for like continuing test difficulty is like 8. So that's the minimum. And what you guys are trying to do is to trying to sabotage a complex piece of time equipment in a manner that isn't going to be detectable, right? And they're not going to know. And so they're going to think it just doesn't work properly.
So like 9, right? Like we're just
I got a 6.
Okay.
8.5.
Okay. So that's a total of 19. Is that what we're looking? As I think that's what I got between the two of you. 13 plus 6 is 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you get up to this machine. Jimmy, you've got maybe a couple skills when it comes to breaking panels down in a way that might make it more accessible for Isra to get to the innards of the machine, right? And so rather than using like an actual panel on the side, you're just bypassing all of that by just ripping a few of these things down. Isra, you go in and you pull out a couple of the sort of like this sort of like backdoor control panel. You're kind of going into it. You're looking around. Syra is like leaning over your shoulder, looking at some of the display. Every now and then someone passes by. But again, because you guys spent the time to get these disguises and because, you know, no one likes to hang out with people who smell like, you know, shit, no one really pays any attention. And finally, Isra, you feel like you've got it. You've hit the button, like you've hit the mark that you wanted to hit. And you sort of step back at this point, and you've done all that you think you can do. And once you're not going to know until they try to use
I
it.
think we've got it. Thank you for all of that. I think we're good. We'll wait for Muck and Sanzu to do their piece and to see if this works.
Okay. What do the three of you do once you're done? Like, do you like step into the shadows and port away? Do you just go hide out somewhere? Like, what do you think? What do you think the three of you do after this?
I think we should try and find their time tunnel and work on getting that shut down too.
Okay. You know exactly where it is. So Isra was able to see it on the device. And it's still in the exact same place. So it's never in like you look over, they've constructed that kind of threshold warehouse, and it's right over there.
Let's go poking around.
Yeah.
I do think we should probably leave before the creatures come pummeling this place. But
yes.
No, we should check it out.
Okay. You step into this warehouse, and you can see, similar to what you saw out in the desert by the mammoth strip, this sort of shimmer just hovering right there in front of you. And from every direction you look at, like just this way and that way, like you see what looks like this kind of beautiful, sleek, very like ultra modern looking room that this portal seems to connect to. Whether you're looking at it straight on, you move to the side, every angle, it looks the same. And you can see every now and then there's like a display case here, a display case there, that kind of stuff. Some of them are filled, a lot of them are empty. You get the feeling you might be looking directly into the museum itself that you had kind of researched, like the curation company. But you also notice that you're not in this room all by yourself. As you see, like off to the side, there is like a panel, like a setup, and you can see that there are two scientists that are kind of working on it. And they look up, they're like, "I'm sorry, I don't think we have any scheduled transports today. Can we help you with something?"
Yes.
Nope.
I do have bureaucracy. So we're here to ensure that the just coming up with words quickly. Everything is ready to go for the installation. And so like something to do with that time frame. We're just here to verify something with the timeline of whatever. So I have a bureaucracy spend that I can do if that would help us.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Make that spend. Like, we've told Mr. Chen we are ready to go. Everything is moving along according to plan. I don't know why he continues to send supervisors. We are just fine. The rip is stable. We are going through just fine. We are making sure not to overdo it. The device, the beam, is it should be operational by nightfall. We should be able to do our first test tomorrow. From what I've heard from all of the guards here, that they've managed to secure the outer walls. The electrified barrier is up. Honestly, what more does Mr. Chen want from us? We are working tirelessly to make sure his vision is fulfilled. So I'm sorry, it's not you that I'm upset with. It's just, there's very strange sounds at night. There's very dangerous creatures out here, and this is not a particularly. I'm sorry. That was very unprofessional of me. That's not going to be in your report, is it?
Well, of all of the time frames that this could have happened, this was the chosen time frame.
Yes. Well, that's not really an answer to the question I asked. So you're going to put this in the report? I'm just overworked. That's all it is. I'm working very hard. Please could you just let him know I have been working diligently, please.
Yes, and can you remind me of your name again? Just feeding into the overworked, appreciated.
Oh, I see. You're here observing, and you don't even know the names of the people that you're observing. My name is Jefferson. Yes.
Thank you, Jefferson. I will note that you are on board with the plans as they are, and you have no complaints to express.
I understand. Are you taking the report to him now? Are you looking to step through? The landing is clear. There's Mr. Chen, I believe, is just admiring some of his display cases, but otherwise,
not at the moment. Not at the moment. We've got a little more research to do.
I see.
Why don't you take a break?
Oh,
you did say you're overworked.
Nice try. I see what you're. I don't need a break. I'm just fine as it is. I wouldn't think of it. No, I am on duty as expected. Yes, I am. No problem whatsoever here.
But breaks are mandated, right? And Israel's looking to Jimmy like, breaks are mandated,
They
right?
are mandated.
Yes, you wouldn't want to break the mandate.
Since when? I don't. Okay, well, if they're mandated, well, fine. Perhaps I'll go have a sandwich. I'll. Okay, well, I'll just go have a sandwich then, if that's what this is. Come along. And he looks over to this younger assistant, and looks over you. Come on. Yes, come. We'll have a sandwich together, trainees. They're. Oh, goodness gracious. You understand. The perils of middle management. Yes.
Of course.
Not that I'm suggesting that you or I are on the same actual...
You're fine. Take a break. Go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, goodbye. And they leave. Okay, and you guys have access to the panel. You have access to the rip. You're in this room all by yourselves. Meanwhile, Muck and Sun Tzu, you've got all this meat. This big pile of this butchered freaking giant sloth right in front of you. What are you doing? What's next?
Muck is like, okay, I will let you figure out where to put the meat. Muck is slightly sidetracked, selfishly making sure that he's got a really excellent sloth pelt ready, and kind of keeping some of the because sloths have those awesome long claws. He's gonna make sure to get those too.
Yeah. Giant sloths are terrifying.
Yeah.
Those claws could rake right through you.
Muck is really excited to get this really fine giant sloth pelt ready. Okay, so you're super smart. You can think about places around the base where then the birds will see the meat and they will come to the meat. And when the birds come, giant birds swooping in are so scary.
Mm-hmm. Are we aware of the electrified fence? Is that something that we saw as we were...
You would know about it. Yeah, you're fully aware of it. Between your observation of it and Syra hacking into the system, between the two of you, you have everything you need to know about the base.
Okay. I guess I just want to... Can I use military tactics to strategically kind of place the meat in the places that I saw people walking that'll just cause the most chaos of birds coming down to try and dive?
Yeah. Are you going to teleport and land, or are you going to like night crawler chunks and then a night crawler another chunk and then night crawler another chunk to these different spots? Is that what you're doing?
I'm going to try and teleport to like a central-ish location in the base and then start distributing as fast as I can.
Okay. So it's a big sloth. Muck, are you helping with this?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say, I'm going to say that's going to probably take 2 trips a piece, which means teleport there, teleport back, teleport there, and then teleport away. Is that fair? Is that right?
Okay.
I don't know about that last teleport away because it depends on what everyone else is doing. We'd probably meet back up with people at that time. I don't know if they're planning on going through the time tunnel or what.
Okay.
It depends on that.
All right. So the two of you then give me 3 time travel tests.
Okay.
And we'll hold off on the 4th.
Okay, so my grounded gets used up. I do need to roll for that last one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Which,
yeah,
I mean,
you should teleport here at the start of it because it's per scene, I think. And so Holocene is essentially a scene. So it's why you're basically here. Okay.
But still, with that many jumps, I do need to roll at least now.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 6.
Okay. On the first.
Finally.
I got a 6.
Okay.
Look at
Second
you
one's
bouncing
good.
out.
Way back. Okay. All 3 of your trips, they're back there. You managed to spot and you put these chunks of meat in places that are going to be visible to birds, like these giant condors and such. Absolutely. And then how'd you do, Muck?
I was successful as well.
Great job. Okay, so both of you keep it together, zip, 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 and then you just kind of blend into the crowd, the workers moving about here and there. Like it's getting a little later in the day because this probably took all day for you guys, right? And so like you guys are a little bit later in the day at this point, and you just kind of blend in the crowd.
Do you want the skull? The claws are mine. Sorry, claws are mine. But if you want the skull, I'll clean it for you.
Tempting. Yeah, hold on to it.
I will. I'll make a helmet for you.
I would love that.
All right, both you take stitches for like the stupidest blood. Like just killing dropping me. It's so ridiculous. Both of you take stitches.
So good.
So dumb. So ridiculous. You're just like night crawling in chunks of dead giant sloth freaking carrion birds to sweep down on. Okay.
Gonna destroy this place.
It's so good. Sun Tzu and the Caveman is the best pairing ever.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, the other 3, you're in this. You're here inside of this this warehouse. You see the rip. You see like this futuristic museum space through the rip. You have the control panel in front of you. Nobody is watching you because you just middle management your way to some solo time in here. What are you guys doing?
Jimmy, that was some quick thinking. That worked far better than I thought it would.
We did it. Teamwork. Let's break this thing so
Let's
they
do it
can
again?
never come back and forth.
Okay.
You guys want me to see if I can do anything through the panel?
Hack to your heart's content.
Yes.
To shut the rip down requires a spend of 2 timecraft points.
Okay.
I have a timecraft point to spend.
I do not.
I've got 1.
Okay.
All right. We can do this.
So if you can split the spend, it's totally fine. And so the 3 of you you bring out some of your devices. Syra, you start hacking to the computer a little bit. Jimmy and Isra have like they have their devices from TIMEWATCH in. And between the 3 of you, working together, suddenly you see this portal close, and the last thing you see right before it closes is you see flying in the direction towards it. You see what looks like a giant brain inside of a massive glass case hovering in the air, and it's like, no, and then the portal closes.
Oh,
wow.
oh, I think that was
Chen.
That was Chen.
All of you, please go ahead and make a D6 L6 paradox test. Because effectively you closed a portal down to prevent them from using it in the future.
Okay.
Thereby creating a time paradox, thereby nullifying something that you know has happened, which is them using that to steal the atomic bomb.
Oh dear.
All of you roll a paradox test. It's a difficulty of, I think it's 6.
How do we do that?
Paradox test is just
the same thing as time test. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just like a time test.
Oh, so it's a chronal stability, not a paradox prevention. Okay.
I feel like we should.
Sorry,
I want to spend on this one.
Yeah, because this one's a D6. So this is like a difficulty 6. You would have to actually hit a 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, only got a 2.
Oh, got a 6.
Nice.
Okay.
That's 7.
Okay, so this is a paradox test, which means we can spend a point from paradox prevention to add a +3 to our roll.
Mm-hmm, if you wanted.
Oh, sweet.
Is this for everybody in the group rolling this?
You're going to end up having to do it once you become knowledgeable of it. So you can go ahead and do it now if you want. Yeah.
Okay.
So I already
D6 plus bonus. Okay.
I already rolled a 2. But if I can do this paradox prevention spend, that will take me to a 5.
I wouldn't do it because it's a fail.
Oh,
that would be
okay.
a fail. Yeah. So
right,
save
6.
your
You
point.
just said 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I think. Wait, let me double check that is correct. I might have the wrong number. That seems high. It could be a D4 L4. Hang on.
I recognize those
I think it's
letters.
I think it's a difficulty 4 loss 4 test. So yeah, if you spent it, Syra, you can spend it and you would pass. So anybody who rolled a 4 or higher, you're okay. So
okay. Good deal.
I'll spend my paradox prevention.
Yeah, I spent a paradox prevention and I ended up rolling a 6 anyway, so I got a 9.
How do you spend a paradox prevention?
Do you have a rank in it?
You have paradox prevention?
Oh, that would be why I'm confused. I do not have that.
Right. It's one of your technical skills.
Yeah,
if you
don't have it. Okay.
Yeah.
Everything makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
You shut down this portal. And all of a sudden, there are various klaxons and alarms that start ringing out and throughout the compound. So Sun Tzu, Muck, you're in the compound. You see it, and everyone's kind of looking around, like wondering, like what's going on. And you see, like rushing out of one of the buildings in here. There is like a woman she's got this big old white coat, and she's just like racing out and just looking around, and like you see like a little exchange, a couple where she like speaks to some of the guards, and the guards you could see pull out weapons and start moving with her. And Muck and Sun Tzu, you see that they're moving in the direction of the warehouse that contains that time rip. So Sun Tzu and Muck, what do you want to do with that? I'm not asking for spends. I just kind of want to know, like, what are you guys doing? You see panic is happening suddenly. People are running around, and you see one of the scientists and a couple guards with guns begin to start moving towards the direction of the warehouse. I'm just asking for what you guys do with that, like, flavor.
I mean, we've been basically, as described, we've been doing the Nightcrawler meat drops. I think the fun thing to do, we've been going back and forth, and we maybe have that like last chunk of meat, and it's just like a chum bucket toss. we've got the last bit of like intestines, organs, or whatever. Let's just toss it on them.
Okay.
It'll freak them out. B,
I want to restate, this compound literally has filled with like 30 to 40 people, like all over. Yeah. I'm just showing you like one group of 3. So like, I just want to warn you of that.
Do I know where I can shut off the electric fence?
You know the whole, you basically know the whole layout of the compound. Yeah.
Okay.
So you could.
I want to run and do that and cause some other things for them to divide their attention on.
Okay, so you race off. You know that there's like this security, essentially it's like the security barracks. It like doubles as like where the guards stay, but it's also got like a little security observational thing. You bust into that office, and you can see that there's screens above. It's that kind of classic screen. There's a guy sitting there, and he like stuck like, what's going on? What is this? I got an alarm here that says the portal's down. What's going on out there?
All hands on deck. We need to all go over there. And I'm going to yell and just hold the door open like, go.
What? Give me a test or a spend to see if you can like convince him to just leave.
Can I do an authority spend?
Absolutely. That's perfect. Yeah. Okay. So you're just pretending like you're a superior. So yes, sir. And he's like quickly like standing up, and he pulls from like this like rack of these guns on the wall. And he rushes out. And he's like, we're not going to be stuck in here, are we? I don't want to be stuck in here.
Not if you move fast.
Okay. And he rushes out, and he's got this gun. And you sit down, and you're trying to figure out how to shut off the electrical fences. Muck, what are you doing?
That's so good. I was actually tempted to do authority as well. Initially. I'll see if I can find something else to go with.
Okay. I mean, if you can brainstorm. I just want to know what Muck is doing. I'm not asking for a spend or an ability. I just kind of want to know what he's doing. Like, literally pandemonium is breaking out, Jeremy. Like, there's alarms that are going off. People are screaming about like the time portal has been shut off. You're seeing people race around. Some of them are racing towards where the time portal is. Like, they're carrying guns. Sun Tzu just races off to like the security thing. I just want to know what Muck is doing. That's
so Sun Tzu's already kind of done the authority thing. And I think the nice like parallel play to authority is reassurance. And like we have our disguises and that sort of thing. Is like, look, it's crazy. Understand. Birds, mammoths, all sorts of things. You think Mr. Chen did not plan for this? Do you think your boss is stupid? No! Follow the routine, follow procedure, you will be fine. Listen to Foreman, go over everything okay.
Okay. So you just, a couple people that are just racing around, panicking in the middle, you just kind of start saying this, and people like look at you and listen. Yeah, of course. Mr. Chen he's prepared for this. We wouldn't be here if Mr. Chen wasn't prepared. Yeah, absolutely. This is all, it's probably a diagnostic. Yeah, it's probably a diagnostic. He's probably just running a diagnostic. That's what it is. That's probably all it is. He's probably got everything figured out in the future. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure that's what it is. And then inside of the warehouse, Syra, Jimmy, Isra, anything you're doing once you hear the alarms go off?
We've done what we need to do here, right?
Yeah,
we should go. We should
just. And so I think Isra would get on because our tethers have communicators with each other.
Yes.
So like our tether has our ability to communicate. So I would say we should just get on the tether and just tell Muck and Sun Tzu, like, we're done here. Just go back. Like, I would almost just say, let's go back to outskirts of 1945 and make sure that everything is situated there where it needs to be.
Yeah, let's just regroup.
Okay.
So that's what Isra would communicate to everybody, and so then we can just pop our autocrons up and go.
Okay, so Sun Tzu's got one last thing he wants to do. He wants to turn the fences off to make it easier for the animals to assault the base. Okay, so what do you want to do? Like a hack?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if I have hacking.
Tinker?
What is that under?
Hacking is investigative. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
You can do a tinkering test if you have tinkering. You can actually roll a test if you have tinkering.
Under general.
I've got taunt. I can taunt as many animals in the nearby with like sounds and sirens. And
Do you want to tell?
The fence. You could just smash the thing too. You could just like do an athletics to break the system down and have everything shut down. Just break everything.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do that?
Can I preparedness the manual flashback?
Absolutely, you could.
The manual for
Preparedness
this.
would be perfect. Absolutely.
Nice.
You have the manual for how to shut this shit
Yeah.
down.
On how
So
to
good.
operate.
We see a flashback. Maybe it's like, what do you think? Is it like while you were doing the jumps with the meat, or was it like before, like when you guys
It would have been like, it would have been after I'd seen the base, and as we're jumping back a year, somewhere in that, I think, to grab a manual for this.
So like before you jump back the year, you just kind of you go over, you just grab the manual, and then now you go back. Okay, and so you pull that out, and it's exactly what you
So
do.
good. I love it.
Make a, what is it? Preparedness? Is that what it's called? I always forget.
Yeah, this is preparedness.
Yeah,
I
I
have
love
flashback where I can just say that I have it. But
You
do
still
wanna
have to do the
You have
rolls.
to make-
You still have to
You have
pass
to
the
make
roll.
rolls. So you can just make this like, I mean, we can make this whatever you want. You can make it like a burglary test. Yeah, we can do like a burglary test if you want. Or if you're trying to, it's however you would get into the security office before to get it. Like if it's, are you breaking in? Are you doing authority? Like what do you think?
I've got disguise. I could like pretend like I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah, go ahead and roll disguise test.
Okay. Throw 3 on it just to make, okay, 9.
Nailed it. Yeah, you go in. Everyone understands. Like they look up and like, hey, boss. And you come over there, and like maybe you even ask them like, "Where's the manual?" "Oh, it's right over there, boss." And just go over and you pull it down, and then you leave, and then poof away. And so there you are, manual unfolded. Even though it's the 24th century, it's still like a physical manual that makes no sense going through it. It's just like spiral bound. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. And all you're doing is like inputting these various codes to like shut everything down. Laser cameras, like all the cameras, all of the electrical fence, like everything you're turning off, like communications, like they can't even communicate with each other now. Everything, you're just shutting it all down, shutting it all down, shutting it all down.
I love it.
Then you hear from Isra. It's like job's done. We're bouncing. Okay. Right. So you guys are bouncing to 1945.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you bouncing to before the mammoth attack, after the mammoth attack? Because remember, it was like June 20th. You guys
it'd
showed
be before the mammoth attack. It'd be probably before the thing got stolen. Actually, when did the mammoth attack happen?
If you want to test, so standard procedure, if you want to test if your changes have affected and corrected the timeline, you go into the future beyond where the anomaly happened to see if your repairs have kind of, properly fixed, right?
So after mammoth attack.
Yeah. Okay. All of you go ahead and make a time travel test.
All right.
Ooh.
And it's just a normal time travel test.
6.
Oh my
Oh
gosh,
my
so many
gosh.
sixes.
Look at that.
Sixes in a row.
Oh, good.
Joe, your dice luck has got.
Oh, Syra. Just the two.
Those
It's
are
just
some
two.
fancy dice.
They are.
Yeah, the one Jeremy's got these digital dice that don't look like dice. They look like, I don't know,
They're all
alien
futuristic.
tech. Okay.
I'd use them if I knew how to read them.
Very
Right, only
perfect.
Syra passed.
I don't understand. You translate for me.
Okay. So all of you time travel outside of Tularosa, 1945, New Mexico. Okay. You're in that feed store again. You're in the back. And like, you see, like you look over, maybe Syra, you're feeling a little dizzy, whatever, from the travel, like all this popping around is kind of getting to you, but you don't hear the sounds of any screaming. This is maybe like a week ahead. This is maybe it's July 27th or something like that, right? You go out onto Main Street and it looks like Main Street. Like there's like one truck or two like parked to the side, right along the side. The diner seems to be fairly busy. Looks like there's a delivery truck, much like the one you stole, that's currently kind of delivering feed and like backing down the alley towards the rear of the feed store. You can see like the sheriff's car passes by, and there's like a guy in there that you recognize, Syra, and he's just like, when you listen in, he's like listening to some kind of like pirate radio station about conspiracy theories as he drives past you. You can see in the distance, like church looks just fine. None of the destruction that you all saw on July 20th when you were here seems to have transpired. As far as you can tell, at the very least, the mammoth didn't attack.
Are there like local newspapers, something like that we can pick up in the immediate area?
So you pick up in the immediate area.
And is there any military presence too?
Start asking around, maybe, and everyone's like, when you talk to me, maybe you go into the diner, right? You go into the diner and you see Agnes Merriweather, the woman that you talked to in the beginning, Isra, who kind of walked over to the church with you at some point. And you can see she's like, what can I get y'all? Table for 5? Oh, sure. Right over here, sweethearts. And she like, brings you over, and like, Jimmy, you get a paper, you start flipping through it. Nothing about a mammoth. Nothing about like strange activity or anything like that. Nothing out of the ordinary going on. Like nothing bizarre.
Anything about the bomb?
So the reports of the test wouldn't necessarily be like immediately well known,
right? But
if you traveled, you would probably be able to like test that a little bit further.
Okay.
But Sun Tzu, if you start asking around, no one really says anything. Like everyone's just like, oh yeah, they got that base up there, but don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. It's just sometimes in the heat of the desert, you just kind of make up some fancy things. No. I'm sure they're just like working on weather satellites or something like that. Everyone seems like really like low key. Everything seems all right.
They don't have the same like heightened panic that they did before when they were trying to figure out what was going on with like the disappearance and stuff. Right. Yeah,
they all look calm. It just looks like an average day for them. Like everything. Okay. Everything looks fine.
All right, that's promising.
Okay. I think after we get our pie, because I'm sure it's delicious, then we should probably pop back forward and make sure that everything went off as it should.
Okay, so where are you headed next?
Trying to think how long we would have needed to wait for this to. Now my lack of history knowledge is gonna show through here.
I mean, if we hop into the 90s, go to the local library, we should be able to find a history book to confirm that things still hopped off like they should have.
1995, we'll say. You go 50 years into the future. You move off into the stacks. Maybe you ask to see the microfiche. There's never anyone there. So you're all by yourselves, flipping through, looking at stuff, learning about like the history. There's no one around. And as far as you can tell, like as you're going through, you see these releases, this information about like the test, at Manhattan Project. You hear you start reading all these stories about the people of like Tularosa and others like complaining about like this radiation sicknesses and such that they've had to experience over their lives. All of this looks normal. And right as it feels like everything's fine, and you're in this like section of the library all by yourselves, you hear and you see suddenly like porting in front of you, causing the microfiches to short, and all of like if you had any papers just start to whip around from like this wind. You see a brain in a case hovering. There is this like some sort of vocalized mechanism like right in the center, and it's like, "You fools, what have you done? They are stealing my collection. What have you done? You must go." And he begins to like sort of babble, panicked and like sporadic. And that's what we'll go ahead and stop for tonight. And we'll pick up on that next week.
Love it.
There you go.
So good. So good.
Brain in a jar will always make me happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. I was like, go to the portal. Go to the portal. I want to show you the fucking brain in the jar. Go to the
brain in the jar.
Go to the fucking portal. I was gonna, if you don't go through it, I'm gonna throw you through it. Yeah. Anyhow.
Respect.
Okay.
We're just like, hey, take a lunch break. Okay. I'll go have a sandwich.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. That is
Nice.
that. You guys, hey, you guys. Oh, those poor people. Just think about what that must have been like for them. Like they're just stuck back there. Just nothing they can really do. Maybe, or maybe there is. They have a time machine. Who knows? Who knows? All right. Well, that's that. Let's go ahead.
Oh, right. The people. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all those people that you just
Think about
lured predators and like saber-toothed tigers and like freaking.
Gotta get rid of the evidence.
And shut off all the base defenses.
Yeah, that was. Oh, whoops.
As you're
Oh, we
going
didn't
through the
realize we were
microfiche, you see like some stray like scientists discover a strange ruin in North America with materials that seem to suggest futuristic tech. That actually might happen. It might actually do. Let's do some
All your
closing
bases
plugs.
belong to us.
It's true. Let's go ahead and do some closing plugs. We're going out of here. My Trey, where can we find you on the internet?
I am Multiplace Games on YouTube, where I make system agnostic or multi-system tabletop content that centers the GM and player experience.
Phenomenal. Joe, Chuck, what's going on over at Defenders of Cobalt?
That's me. Wednesday we have Savage Rifts. Fridays we have our Cyberpunk campaign, Always Sunny in Night City. And then also go buy my book, Teenage Odyssey. And then hopefully here soon for those backers of my next book, Skin City. Things will be coming because if Adam was here, I probably couldn't show this off, but he's not. I got the proof in for Skin City and it's amazing. So yeah,
Awesome.
That'll be
Nice.
for backers. Hopefully
so
soon.
Cool.
Nice. Awesome, man. Yeah. I have my Teenage Odyssey copy right back there. So looking to add to my collection.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. And you know what else you can add? You can add a Huckleberry. Let's talk about Steven's wonderful game. Our dear friend Steven has been making this game. It is a cinematic action horror western, huckleberryrpg.com, or just hop into our Discord, ask him some questions, try the game out yourself. It'll be on Backer Kit later this year, but you can play it now with a Quick Draw Edition. And then for streaming purposes, next stream is tomorrow night, where we're going to be playing through some Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, the role-playing game, which is a Cypher System game about park rangers and tour guides in 1987 leading people into a giant sphincter or something. Then on Thursday, look at Jeremy, he's so interested. On Thursday, Swords of the Serpentine. So if you like Gumshoe, we are going to be playing some more Gumshoe on Thursday with our Swords of the Serpentine game as we're nearing the end of that campaign. Friday this week is a Magnus Archives week. So you should come check out our agents. And then archivists. And then on Saturday, we've got Call of Cthulhu, and we'll be back next week with more TIMEWATCH. All right. So that's it for us. Let's go ahead and say goodbye. I'm going to put us on the end screen. I'm going to do a little raid, and then we'll see y'all later. So thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
Bye.